Pay attention to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies because we've just seen a massive liquidation of longs in the past few hours. Liquidations are at a critical point. Bitcoin has dropped even more than I expected. Let's see if anything has changed, if from here we're heading to the $110,000 zone or even lower, or if we might actually be forming a bottom right now and facing a new opportunity. Let's make it clear and start today with this. There's no economic calendar because there are no news releases today and none tomorrow either. So let's go straight right away to the liquidations in different trading. How are the liquidations looking? Well, take a look at this right here, okay? Over the weekend, we've been going up. Over the weekend, I already warned in the trading hub that I expected some liquidation moves and that basically we would see some drops on Sunday night. I was expecting a drop down to the 116,500 area, not as low as 114,500, but still we were expecting some kind of drop. If you look, there were some pending liquidations. Well, it didn't stop here, it didn't stop at the next one, it stopped at the following liquidation zone. 3 entire zones have been liquidated and, well, you can see it has done quite a bit of damage to the market. Now, I'll even show you my own trades so you can see that today I also lost, in this case, some capital, okay? So, as you can see here, clearly massive liquidations, all of them liquidated, there's a little bit left on the lower side, but it's a tiny area. Right now, honestly, you have to keep in mind that there are a lot of liquidations both above and below, but the most important area at the moment, the most important area, is around $106,000. The most important liquidation zone is at 106, even more important than the all-time high zone. We're still very far from 106. Keep in mind that these liquidations are more than $10,000 away. These liquidations could even disappear over time if we don't get there, okay? But it's clear to say that if 110 were broken, or the 112 zone, which is where we set the bottom last time, basically here on August 2nd and 3rd, the bottom we set at around 112, if we broke through this area, we would basically go visit 106. So, things could get pretty complicated there. We don't want to see that. We want to see a Bitcoin bottom soon, okay? As long as we're above 112,000, for now, nothing's wrong. For now, as we'll see on the chart, we're still in an uptrend and we could easily go for the liquidations above, leaving these as they are, although I repeat, there are a lot and it's a level to watch, especially if we break the previous low. But for now, it's still too far away and honestly, there's not much to comment on. If we zoom in, you can see more clearly what was being discussed about the current liquidations, okay? So, I'm starting to see some warning signs in the liquidations, but it all depends on what the Bitcoin chart says. So I think it's worth it for us to go ahead and see what Bitcoin is doing today. What do we have with Bitcoin? Well, Bitcoin is currently in the area of $115,944. I had a support level marked here in the 117,000 zone, which we basically broke through with the 4 a.m. candle. Now let's see what's going on, because it's true that we're already seeing some bounces, but above all, let's look at the daily chart. Why was I telling you? On the daily chart, I was telling you that it's important not to lose the $112,000 zone. Well, because it corresponds to 2 incredibly important zones, which I'm going to mark for you right here. Okay. It matches the highs from May 2025 and the bottom we set in August 2025. As long as we don't break this level, we're still clearly in an uptrend. Why? Because we currently have a significantly higher low, a higher low than the immediately preceding one, and even a higher high and a consistently higher low. If from this particular point on we begin to break crucial levels like the previous low, or set a lower high than the last established one, and from there, if we continue to keep breaking down further, the overall trend on the daily chart will definitively turn bearish. We absolutely do not want to see a bearish trend on the daily chart, basically because it would undoubtedly take us quite a significant while to fully recover from that particular situation. And right now, remember that we've already been, how long has it been? 38 days moving sideways. Bitcoin has already wasted enough time. For me, Bitcoin isn't going to keep falling much more, and the 112,000 zone is the bottom. For me, that's the area where we've already hit bottom, and where we have our cycle longs open from this zone. Okay. In any case, obviously, I repeat, if the 112,000 were to be lost, which I see as unlikely, in that case, the next stop would be 106,000, right in the whole liquidation zone we've seen up there. So, for now, on the daily chart, we're still good. In fact, you might say the MACD has crossed downward, and yes, it has crossed downward again. This bearish crossover also has a bullish divergence, so it's kind of neutral, right? I mean, yes, we do have a bearish crossover, but with a bullish divergence, so in this case, it's a bit neutral. And a bearish divergence also formed on the RSI, which is what has signaled, from the all-time highs, a drop of more than, well, practically $10,000 since this divergence formed on August 13th. So that's how things stand, right? 4-hour chart. How is Bitcoin doing right now? That's why I'm telling you that we might be forming a bottom right now. It's true that we've lost the 200 moving average, and that's a bad sign. We need to recover it soon. Okay? If we don't recover it in less than 24 hours, this moving average is going to act. It's going to start acting as resistance, and then it's likely will drop back down to 112. So we need to think about a recovery, and we have to get back above, I repeat, at least $117,500. That's the maximum time I give it, 24 hours. If not, things will start to look a bit more bearish. Okay? Notice that in the next 24 hours, there's a chance we could recover this level. Why? The MACD is losing bearish momentum. It barely has any bearish strength left, and there's even a bullish divergence on the MACD. We've also hit oversold levels on the 4-hour Bitcoin chart, and as we can see, everything is pointing in the same direction. At the very least, an attempt to reach the $117,500 zone. Retest this area, retest the 200 moving average. If we recover it perfect, we'll go even higher. If from 117,500 Bitcoin starts dropping again and keeps going down, or stays below that 117,500, be careful because things could change and most likely will head to 112. In any case, the current move seems pretty clear to me, both on the 1-hour and 4-hour charts. The next move should be an attempt to reach the moving average. From here, we'll decide what to do. If Bitcoin looks weak from this point and starts dropping, that's clearly bearish. If from this point we manage to break through this area, perfect, that will be bullish. In any case, any move that happens now should first touch that moving average. And that's the move we're going to trade now, and it's the move I'm trading right now, okay? With all that explained, let's go to the 1-hour chart to see exactly what's happening. Check this out right here, okay? Bitcoin has been dropping, but with very, very little bearish strength. At this point, the MACD has crossed upwards. There's a hidden bearish divergence, but it's kind of hanging by a thread. But most likely the next candle will invalidate it. Okay. This isn't calm. This isn't 100% set yet. It could still be invalidated. What does seem very, very strong is that we could go to the 117,000 zone bullish divergence. Oversold. Well, we started to go up, and you can tell that Bitcoin is starting to bounce. Like I said, we still don't know if this is a bounce just to keep falling, or if it's a bounce to recover that moving average and then go up from there. Okay, we'll probably see that in the next 24 hours. We need to wait a bit and see what happens. But in any case, that's how things are with Bitcoin. I'm telling you right now that I have some open trades and I'm going to show them to you. Okay? First, let's quickly do an analysis of the altcoins to see what they're doing today. Because today there are altcoins that are dropping. Bitcoin is only down 1%, but ENA is down 5%, ADA is down 6%. A lot of coins are dropping hard. Some of them have fallen more than 9%. For example, look at what Ether is doing right now. It's been going up a lot. It's normal for it to have corrections. From its highest point, Ether has already dropped 11%. As you already know, like I always tell you, a correction of 10 to 15% during alt seasons and bull markets is totally normal for altcoins. Okay. So, from this point on, knowing the pattern that's forming, which is clearly a big upward move, clearly a downward channel that usually breaks to the upside, and that this isn't just a channel but a bull flag, it should repeat the previous move and repeat the previous move, okay? That would mean repeating this move here, which could basically take Ether easily to the $5,070 range. Obviously, this will take days, okay? But we have the MACD lacking strength, we basically have the pattern that's formed, and we clearly have support, for example, around the 4,000 area and the 3,900 area. For example, a type of trade you could look for in Ether would be, if it drops back down to the lower part, to target the area we mentioned around $5,070 or so, with a stop loss below the 200 moving average. That gives you a trade with a risk-reward ratio of 2.56. Trades like this are the kind you can look for in the long term. Like I said, this trade could last a week and a half at least, okay? These are more long-term trades. But just so you can see the opportunities that show up in many of these altcoins. Basically, in this case, right? To lose the trade I mentioned, first, the channel would have to break downward, which is the least likely scenario. Remember, there's a 70% chance it breaks upward. Second, that it keeps dropping while being oversold, and with the MACD showing no strength, that it keeps dropping. And third, also breaking the 200-period moving average. A lot of things would have to happen, all of which are very unlikely. Could it happen? Yes, if Trump comes tomorrow and says, hey, I'm dropping a nuclear bomb, everything's going to crash. Okay? But the probability is on our side. And besides, the risk-reward ratio is also in our favor. This is what we're looking for. these kinds of opportunities. But anyway, basically, so you can see Bitcoin's dominance. You can obviously see that, well, the whole alt season thing has paused for a few days, which is completely normal. It's been on hold since Wednesday, basically with dominance moving sideways. As soon as Bitcoin recovers a bit and dominance starts to drop again, there will be new explosions in the altcoins, just like we've seen these past few days. Explosions like, for example, with Link, which look here, right? In just 2 days, it has gone up 23%. These are the alt seasons, times when one coin shoots up 15%, another jumps 10%, one doesn't move, then explodes the next day, and that's just how it works. There are a few days of sideways movement, and then what we'll see is another drop in dominance along with other altcoins starting to take off. So, I think this is going to start speeding up soon, especially when Bitcoin breaks above the 122,000 zone. For now, we're going to stay a little on the sidelines, okay? To wrap up today's video, let's take a look at some of my trades. And basically, I want you to see this. I've been trading quite a bit these days. Check it out, all these trades are from between yesterday and today, more than 20 trades. And look, things started going well for me, but here I had 2 significant losses, one in Ether and another in Link. In fact, I closed the Ether one almost by accident, but oh well. And if you look here, I've been recovering quite a bit afterwards. Okay? I've been recovering quite a bit, but I feel like today isn't going too well for me. I still have some open trades where I'm up 304, and $500 more, that's another 800 I'm getting back, and we could pretty much say I'll be breaking even today. But these losses we've had today, for example, the one with Ether or others like it, are also kind of similar to what we've experienced in the Trading Hub, because in the Trading Hub we were coming off a really good streak. If you look here, we have the Google Sheets. This is public for everyone. These are the signals we send out in the Trading Hub. We were on a really good streak, but notice that lately things haven't been going as well. Even so, the account is still growing. Okay? Even if we lose several trades, the account grows because when we lose 1, 0.40, 0.90, 0.80. But when we win 5 and another 5 here, and a 2 and a 1.5. The only significant loss we've had was today with Radium, which was 2% of the account. But well, in the end, it's still within the margin we've set for ourselves. Currently, we have 2 long positions open in the signals, one in Bitcoin and another in XRP. And well, we're going to hold them and see how they go. But right now, the account has a total ROI of 46% in about 4 months, so you have all the public data to check it out. And remember, to join the Trading Hub, you just need to register on BitGet, Bit2X, or BingX using the link in the description. The first links in the description explain everything about how to join the Trading Hub, which is very simple and, as I said, it's free and we share a lot here. For example, I've also shared some signals or opportunities I've spotted in Cardano there. We have all the signals that we share, we have the community chat, a ton of things that, well, even if we're not in the best moment or the best streak ever, you can clearly see in the chart in the history that these signals are profitable in the long run. Obviously, a 60% success rate, if we're talking about longs, almost 70%, we win much more than we lose. That's basically what you should be looking for with all these things. There will be better and worse streaks, but in the end, in the long run, and here it's being shown with 4 months of data that it's working. So that's how we'll have it. So, well, I highly recommend that you keep an eye on Bitcoin. There will probably be short-term rebounds, but above all, it's important to recover the $117,500. If we don't do that and end up losing the 112, which I find unlikely, but it could happen, at that point, the 106,000 is on the table. So stay alert, stay alert. We don't want any surprises. I'm going to stick with the trades I have right now, and at the moment, well, we've made $700 or $800 more, and I'm going to keep them. So that's it. See you in the next video. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you tomorrow with more. See you soon, folks. Bye-bye.